Good evening, or evening, yeah. Yeah, I'm about 12 hours behind. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing out here? All righty. And, okay, yeah, let's get rid of the membership reminder here. And boop, there it goes. And back over here to comments. All right, so now we got 5 people watching. Hey, we got 2 making comments. We got Phelan Klein Wolf and Crew 1351 making comments so far. Alrighty. So we're going to start with chapter 8 today and get 8 and 9 done. The story has made some twists and turns a little bit, but yeah, they've been concentrating, it's been carrying around Tempe, dealing with the Michael Moore and his adopted parents, Janet and Benjamin Clark, and Kimberly Jackson and her mom. And that's what it's been revolved about, them and stuff. And for those that haven't caught any of the things previously, basically, I'll just do historical type stuff. Kimberly and Michael are both archers, different high schools, competing on different teams. They've seen each other at the events over, how many years? About 4 or 5 years. And they've, they were attracted to each other, but they were both misinformed about the other. This one boy had been putting out stories that he was dating Kimberly, and so no one else had asked her out. And some of her friends that supposedly knew Michael, he's straight laced. I mean, he's one of these old school type people. Girls do not ask boys out, boys only ask girls out type thing. And so they never connected until after the asteroid, the news of the asteroid coming at Earth broke. And the following morning, they ran into each other at Harbor Freight. He was getting a small solar panel to charge batteries for his MP3 player. So he'd have something to listen to during when power outages and stuff was going on. And they were wanting to get some solar panels and some inverters to take, because they were going to bug out to her cousin's Jake's place in Alpine, Arizona, over on the New Mexico border. Well, boom, they ran into each other. Literally, she ran around the corner, ran right into him and knocked him down. And one thing led to another, and they found out, all right, wait, you're not going steady with so-and-so. Oh, no, I'm not. I don't even like him. I shot him down. And, they found out that no, he did not have anything against girls asking boys out. And they connected, and things have been progressing at a warp factor 7. All right, so let's get over here and bring this up. There we go. And one of the things, a couple days after they'd first met, she proposed to him in a video, and he texted back, yes, in 22 months, because our parents don't believe we're really in love, and we need to show them, have a long engagement just to spite them. So that's where we're at here now. All righty. Okay. Oh, we got 6 in here watching. Hello. All righty. So let's pick it up here. Michael sat up suddenly wide awake when the sunlight came through the window and hit him in the face. He'd forgotten to close the curtain all the way last night, and when he and his adopted father got back when he and his father got back to Tempe. He panicked and rolled out of bed and hurried to the bedroom window and looked outside to see if anybody was checking out the house. Then he realized, then he felt his face flushed as he realized that no one would be in his backyard trying to see into a second story window. Still, he looked around the neighborhood to see what he could see. Let me put another word in there. Then he closed the curtain and moved to get dressed. He figured that since he was up, and now a slight adrenaline rush was there was no way he would be able to get back to sleep. So he might as well get on his computer and do some research on some attachments for the, hang on, I'm going to put this on, the little garden tractor. And I just saw a grandson go running by the window here. Little garden tractor, and on the Bobcat tractors that they might get for the cabin. He was hoping that someone would be in such a hurry to get money that they would get that he would find a super deal or two. That sounds a little bit better. For the next 45 minutes, but for the next 40 minutes, he checked out every site he could think of for used Bobcats. He found a tow-behind rotor tiller for the garden tractor right away, but it seemed that no one was selling Bobcats. Then he tried searching for John Deere tractors and found a John Deere 35D mini excavator with several attachments for sale for $17,000. It was posted last night, and it was in Mesa on the way back to the cabin. It would be perfect. Michael checked what time it was, saw that his dad would be up in another half hour. He got it from the laptop and started wandering around the house looking for things they would need at the cabin or didn't want to lose if someone looted their home. His adoptive parents weren't hoarders, so he found out that they weren't hoarders. So he found out that they had taken pretty much everything that was worthwhile already. The CAB to the cabin. He was heading back to the laptop when his phone pinged that he had a text message. Janice had been nervous sleeping alone at the cabin and woke up much earlier than normal. She fixed herself some scrambled eggs and realized they needed to get some chickens if they were going to continue to have real eggs. Yes, they had several cases of powdered eggs, but it wasn't the same. Then she thought about the powdered milk they had. She didn't really like it, but they had gotten it thinking it would hold them over for the short term. They would need a source of fresh milk, maybe a couple goats or even a cow. She grabbed a notebook and pencil and started writing things down as she thought of them. Now she was thinking real livestock and farm supplies. She wrote as she talked out loud. Chickens, cows, pigs, goats, sheep, horses, rabbits, what else? Bees. Bees would be needed to make honey to replace sugar for cooking. She suddenly realized that they hadn't been truly thinking long-term survival. All of this was going to cost more than they had in their savings. They should try to sell the house now for cash. They wouldn't get as much as they normally would, but they would get enough to buy what they needed. Yes, they should sell the house and just plan on living here for living here at the. Let me put that in there. Here at the cabin for retirement, even if the asteroid doesn't cause the problems they were expecting. They would let Michael and Kimberly build a house of their own elsewhere on the property so they could raise their family here too. She just about dropped the notebook at that thought. She was coming to grips with the two of them getting married. She checked her watch and it was 5:47. Benjamin would still be asleep. Michael might be up talking to Kimberly online. She texted him to call. Kimberly had been up since before the sun even started to light the morning sky. She had been moving very quietly so she would not wake her mother as she moved boxes that they had packed the night before out into the trailer. Then she started working on other items her mother had mentioned. She continued till she was unsure what else to pack without waking her mother up. Then she decided to text Michael and see if he was able to receive text. Hang on, let me fix that there. Receive text messages. Receive text messages and maybe talk if he had a good signal. Are you awake? After about 10 seconds, her phone pinged. Are you online? She replied, I will be shortly. See you on Talks. And she hurried to her bedroom and laptop. A minute later, she logged on and Michael's face came up on the screen. Hey, gorgeous, he practically sang. How have you been? Conflicted greatly about life, she replied. Let me put that in there. She replied, how's that? Well, Mom gave her permission for us to get married as soon as we want to, which made me very, very happy. But we're still going to Jake's, which has me very unhappy. In fact, we're heading back today, so I'm really bummed about that. But I'm very happy to see you. Yeah, I see what you mean. I'm very happy to see your face, but just seeing you and knowing that I can't be with you makes me unhappy. Why? Kimberly asked, unsure where Michael was going with this. Because seeing you and not being able to touch you hurts so deep inside, it's making me want to do something I shouldn't. She gave a half-hearted smile. I know. If I knew you were here and up, I would have taken the truck and come over and ninja'd my way into your room. And when you did, I got to make that pass a little different here. And when you did, I would have surrendered my body to you with all my heart. Kimberly sighed. No, 22 months is. Actually, I want to change this here from a brief pause to a longer pause. There we go. 22 months is. So it looks like summer after next, if things don't go too wrong, we'll be able to travel to get each other, to get to each other. Unless your mom decides to come to our cabin sooner. Yeah, if only. I think she is really wanting to make a go of it at Jake's, Kimberly groused. We dropped what? Hang on, this one's not making sense. Let me look at it again. She dropped. Yeah. We dropped the small trailer at Jake's and bought a 16-foot heavy-duty 3-axle trailer when we were in Alpine and brought it back to load up more of our belongings. You got another trailer to load up? I thought your mom didn't like big trailers. Yeah, but she found out how hard it is to back up the small one and figured that if we don't load it too heavy, then she can handle it. Besides, we're keeping the chest freezer in the small one and some of the food and medical supplies in case we need to leave Jake's in a hurry. Well, that's good. That's good to have ready. I still don't like the way Jake's property looks like on Google Maps. It's way too open and close to the roads for safety's sake, Michael said, obviously not happy with the way Jake's property was set up either. I know, I like your place much better. He even has a place in the north end by the pond to build a cabin for us. The pond has tilapia and they're good to eat. That sounds good. Kimberly said, that sounds good. Now I really don't want to go to Jake's. I guess your mother would hate me if I snuck over there and took you with us this morning. Yeah, she would. Yeah, yes, she would be just a little pissed off at you. Did she give you any clue as to how bad it needs to be to get you to leave? Oh, sorry, I'm reading it wrong here. Did she give you any clue as how bad it needs to get for you to have to leave Jake's and seek shelter elsewhere? No, but I have mapped out several different routes that we can take to get to your place when we have to evacuate. Kimberly lowered her head and looked down at her lap. I don't think she realized how bad it's going to be by the time we have to leave Jake's. I believe that by the time arrives, I believe by the time arrive. Yeah, something's wrong with that sentence when I actually read it out loud. Let me look at it again here. I don't think she realizes how it's going to be. Next. Time. Yeah, I'm having a hard time doing it. It doesn't sound right when I read it out loud. Doesn't sound right when I'm reading it quietly. So, all right, let me change it. Time. All right, let me go in here and just rewrite in here. Time. All right, so all right, let's try this. I believe that by the time we need to leave and she realizes it, things are going to be very bad. I'm not talking about the cities. It's going to be wild on the roads, like in Jerry Ahern's The Survivalist, or William Johnstone's The Ashes series, or Walt Rogers' Walt Rogers Talkie Time series. SRI. Take this one here out. There we go. Change, put this one back. 1, 2, 3, and a comma. There we go. It's going to be Wild on the Roads, like in Jerry Hearn's The Survivalist, William Johnston's The Ashes, or Walt Rogers' Talkie Time series is with brigands and motorcycle gangs roaming around. She looked up, searching for help and hope from Michael's face on her laptop. I don't know what to do. Michael blushed. So when are you leaving to head back to Jake's? He asked, trying to get his mind off getting married. Kimberly half smiled instantly. Kimberly's half smile instantly disappeared, and a pouty frown materialized in its place. Whoa, that was a quick change, Michael said, with a bit of regret at changing the subject. Like I said, I'm not happy with going to Jake's. She paused, like she wanted to say something more, but didn't know what to say. But you're not going to abandon your mother. Michael added, no, I'm not. And I can't be with you until she comes along with me. She sighed. Does that make me a bad wife to be? No, it shows you're loyal to the family you love, and you honor your parents, both of them, by taking care of your mother. I'll press her for a date when or event or reason that we'll need to leave Jake's before we are forced to evacuate. But as far as today, it should be sometime this afternoon around 1. I'll ask my dad if we can stop by on our way out of town. No, don't. Tears started to trickle down her cheeks, and her breathing began to get shaky. If you come here, I couldn't stand it. I would have to watch you leave, or leave my mother and go with you. I'm afraid that I would become the bad daughter. The tears increased as she struggled with her heart for her two loves. Michael saw Monica suddenly come into the camera's view as she came to her daughter and sat on the bed next to her, wrapping her arms around her. Monica was also crying as she hugged Kimberly tightly and sobbed out, "Oh, you can never be the bad daughter. You're too much like your father." The two of them sat there hugging and crying for a couple of minutes. Then Monica released Kimberly from her hug and looked her in the eyes and said, holding her by the shoulders, "You can go with him. I'll be fine at Jake's." "No, you won't," Kimberly sobbed out through her gasps for breath. "If you go there without me, you will die." "Hey, you have radios. We can monitor them from. We will monitor them all the time. By the back roads, lest if we drive through Flagstaff or if we can just skirt around it. If it starts to get bad, we'll come get both of you." "Are you sure?" Kimberly asked haltingly. I will come no matter what." Kimberly nodded. Come over if you can, but there's no guarantee that I won't latch onto you and not let go. Yes, there is. You're your father's daughter and my super hot, sexy ninja. You have honor. Her face screwed up in a puppy dog way and a slight smile and a slight smile as more tears streamed down her cheeks. Michael's phone pinged. It was a text from his mom. Hey guys, hang on a second. My mom wants me to call her. He pushed the icon and he pushed the call icon. It must be urgent if she were to text this early. Michael put the phone on speaker and it rang twice before Janet answered. Michael, you're up already? Yeah, I got you on speaker. I've been talking to Kimberly and her mom. That's what I figured. What, wait? Her mother? I'm here, Janet. Oh, good. You need to hear this too. But first, Michael, go get your dad. Okay, Michael said. And hang on. Michael said and set the laptop on the bed and the phone next to it. He started to leave when he got an idea. Kimberly, yes? Can you set it up so my mom can be on talks with us? One conference call coming up. Great, I'll go get Dad. While Michael was waking Benjamin up, Kimberly got Janet's email address from her and sent her a link for talks. When she logged on, Kimberly added her to the chat call. When Michael got back, he saw his screen had split in two. On the left was Kimberly and her mom, and on the right was Janet sitting at the kitchen counter. Dad will be here as soon as he gets dressed. That's fine. I need to say something to Kimberly. Yes, Mrs. Clark? Kimberly, I'm sorry for the way I treated you. I judged you wrongly for your eye patch. I despised you for loving Michael, and I didn't trust you when you were actually as trustworthy as Michael. I know that you'll make him a fine wife and a mother of his children. I will try to live up to the ideals you want for Michael. You have surpassed those already. She saw Janet. I'm going to put Janet's side in here. Janet side. Just do an old worrywart favor and keep the PDAs to a minimum until the 22 months are up, okay? Please do it for the both of us old ladies, Monica chimed in. Hang on, I need to put a comma here. Okay, Kimberly said, a little dejected. Does that mean we can't give foot rubs in front of the fireplace? Janet nearly fell off the bar stool at the kitchen counter. You two can give each other all the foot rubs you want. Who's giving out foot rubs? Benjamin asked groggily as he came into Michael's bedroom with a bad case of bedhead. You're giving one when you get the house sold. What? Everybody said loudly. Okay, here's the deal, Janet said hurriedly. I just realized we've screwed up in our supplies and our estimate of how long this is going to last. And how we're going to get through it. We've been thinking that everything over. We've been subconscious. Hang on, let me put something in here. I know it's going to come up wrong, but does it pop? Give me the word. Subconsciously thinking that everything will return to normal in several years and we'll return to our homes. Well, I don't think our homes are going to be there in 6 months. So we might as well. We might as well sell them now and use the money to buy things we need. Whoa, dear, slow down. I'm lost and confused. And I just woke up. Please start again and a little slower, Benjamin pleaded. Hang on. Let me get the goopies out of my eyes. Yeah, I got the house nice and humidified yesterday when I was canning, but overnight, because it just got overnight, it got really dry in here with the furnace kicking on a bunch because the way the temperature dropped. Okay, when I woke up this morning, I made myself some eggs sunny side up, and that's when it hit me. No more eggs sunny side up or deviled or hard boiled, only scrambled from a can. We need chickens. Then I went to put a sprinkle of grated cheese on the eggs. No more grated cheese, only dehydrated cheese powder. Ew, Kimberly let slip out. My feelings exactly. We need goats and or a milk cow. A milk cow needs a bull because no babies, no milk. Pigs, Michael asked. Bacon, pork chops, spare ribs, Janet replied. Clothing, we can grow cotton or sheep for wool. Sugar, we can grow beets or bees for honey. The point is, how are Michael and Kimberly's children going to eat? Scrounging for nuts and berries? We need to step up our game today. I take it you also have a plan as usual. Sell the house. We may not get what we want. There are probably people from the coast areas that will pay top dollar for it in cash, Kimberly interjected. Then we'll be better off. Hang on. Space there. There we go. Then we'll be better off, Janet replied. We start with chickens and a hen house, enough feed for a couple of years. Oh, and goats, they'll eat just about anything. Then a couple cows and a bull. Then pigs and rabbits, and finally bees. I'll start downloading Kindle books on small farm livestock, bees, wool production, and beekeeping, Kimberly. Hey, you got bees in there twice. Let me go ahead and take that out. I'll start downloading Kindle books on small farm livestock, wool production, and that's what I need to put in it. Hang on. Okay, wool production, making clothes from wool, and beekeeping, Kimberly said quickly. Thank you, Kimberly. And if you find any in PDF format, that would be much appreciated. Then we can print them for study. Got it. Benjamin, you need to see if any of your contacts have a good realtor that can get us a cash buyer today or tomorrow at the latest. I have one, Monica spoke up. She deals with high-end businesses and property management companies. She's always moving property for cash deals. I'll call her at 7:30 if I don't find her at the fitness club first. Fitness club first. If she can get a buyer for cash on the barrelhead, you'll have to get everything out ASAP. We'll get everything out in a day if we have to, Benjamin said. Our garage is almost empty. They can store some stuff here. Our garage is almost empty. Can they store some stuff here? Kimberly asked. That's a good idea, Monica replied. Great. Get a hold of your friend and see what she can do for us, Janet said. How much are you willing to cut to sell quickly? Benjamin thought for a second. Well, the Porters sold the hang on. The Porters froze. The Porters sold their home for 625 to hang on, let me put it in here. 425,000 2 weeks ago. I would say try to keep it above 550,000. I'll see what she can do. Good. Michael, any luck on the tractor? I found a John Deere 35D mini excavator with several attachments for sale for $17,000. It was posted last night. We can pick it up. We can pick it up, and I'll make a quick run up to the cabin with it and come back from our items, Michael said, then added as an afterthought. I thought I saw a for sale sign for some goats north of Flagstaff. That would save some commute time in getting them. I'll check Craigslist for cows, sheep, rabbits, pigs around Flagstaff. Hang on, around. And here, Janet said. Also check for a horse or stock trailer too. If there is one, it's probably a lot cheaper there than down here, Benjamin added. You will need cages and pens for the rabbits, Monica chimed in. They need to be kept warm during the winter. Hang on. From what I have heard, in the garage should be fine with a single heat lamp for warmth at night. We have a lot to do today, Michael said, sounding fatigued already. That's a good thing Home Depot opens at 6 this morning, Benjamin said. We need to get more chicken wire, T-posts, wire ties, screws, cordless drills, extra batteries, and a whole lot more. Hardware cloth for rabbit hutches, Monica said. We need to get another trailer, one the Jeep can pull, maybe a 12-footer that dumps, Michael said. That would come in handy for moving firewood, hay, and other things that we have yet to discover we need, Benjamin agreed. Monica, Janet spoke solemnly. I know you still have your mind set on going to your cousin's place. His family, hang on, is there, and there will be other family there too. But seriously, a barn? Give coming with us more thought. Give coming with us more thought. I'm thinking about it all the time. She looked at Kimberly. I'm weighing the advantages and disadvantages of both places. Thank you for your offer, but I will help you get your new supplies today and tomorrow at least, unless everything starts heading south. That's all we can ask for, Janet said, a little disappointed that she wasn't going to join them at the cabin. It was 7:15 and Monica walked towards the fitness club as her friend Susan was coming out. Hey, Susan, Monica called out across the parking lot. Hang on, let me make that. There we go. Exclamation on that. Hey there, she called back and changed direction. She was walking headed towards Monica. I've been worried. How about you? I haven't seen you for days. What happened? Life took a left turn. Kimberly got engaged. She's not pregnant. She's not pregnant. That just doesn't. I'm going to change this sentence around too. I hope she's not pregnant. Susan said quickly. See, quickly. Oh no, she's still a virgin. So is he. I think they're the last two 17-year-old virgins in the city. And they set a date, July 15th, 22 months from now. Wow, that's almost 2 years. Hang on, that's not right. That's not 22 months. Hang on, let me do my math here. So there's September. 22 months would be August. Yeah, August, July. Okay, yeah, it's still September. So yeah, that is right. July 15th. Started to panic there, folks. Sorry. Uh, yeah, 22 months from now. Wow, that's almost 2 years, Susan exclaimed. Yeah, they're real stubborn about staying virgins until they're married. That's rich. Two virgins setting a date that far out. I couldn't do it. Neither could I. James was too daggone hot. Monica sighed. So what does her fiance look like? Susan asked in a concerned tone, thinking Kimberly got an overweight dog of a guy. Oh, he's hotter than James was. Really? Monica pulled out her smartphone and brought up Michael's InstaFace page and showed it to Susan. Oh, he is hot, she cooed. If he were 18, I would go cougar on him. Yeah, well, yeah, anyways, Monica changed the subject. I need help with a piece of property. Girl, I am so busy trying to find properties right now, unless you found it already. And a commit for and a commitment from the seller, I don't think I can help you find one. Not in buying and selling. Michael's parents wanted to sell their house. Really? Susan exclaimed, I have 20 buyers for each house I can find. Is it a dump? I can still get good money for it. It's a two-story, 5 bedroom, three full baths and 2 half baths, 2-car garage on a 3rd-acre lot near. Hang on, I need to fix that. 1, 2, 3, comma, and near Marco Denisa High School. Oh, I can get them about 800,000 for it in that neighborhood. What about cash out in 48 hours? Susan straightened up. Are they in trouble? No, they just want to get out of Dodge before the craziness starts. Nothing's going to happen, Monica. The government's got it all under control. They can't control the influx of drugs. They sure can't control an asteroid. But that's neither here nor there. Can you sell it in 2 days for cash on the barrelhead? Sure can. I may need to cut it to 730,000. When can I meet the seller? 8:30. Monica smiled. Do you want to jump on this one? You bet your sweet tushy I do. Good. Here's the address. Monica handed her a post-it with an address and phone number on it. I'll be in and out helping them move their stuff to my place. I'll be there at 8:30. See you there, Monica smiled, gave her friend a quick hug, and turned him back towards her car. As she pulled out her cell phone and called Benjamin. You're in luck. She may have to cut it as low as $730,000. What? You're kidding? Nope, prices have gone through the roof. That's fantastic. What time can she come by, or do I have to go to the office? She'll be there at 8:30. I'll get our paperwork dug out, Benjamin said before he hung up. Michael and Kimberly unloaded the boxes from the Jackson's trailer that Kimberly had loaded early in the morning. And hang on. Back into the and now, okay, all right, so Michael and Kimberly unloaded the boxes from the Jackson's trailer that Kimberly had loaded early in the morning back into the Jackson's garage. And now they were over at the Clark's house packing up the Clark's trailer as fast as they could. Monica would bring her trailer over. Hang on, let me read this again. She was done with this. Susan. Monica would bring her trailer over as soon as she was done with Susan. Back at the Clark's house, they had cleaned out all the upstairs. Not back at the Clark's house, they had cleaned out all of the upstairs bedrooms, which just had bed frames. And yeah, I see somebody behind me here. What are you doing? What do you need? Yeah. You want to go home? Okay, you can go. Thank you for asking. Goopy in the eyes again. Where was that? Okay. They cleaned out all the upstairs bedrooms, which just had the bed frames, mattresses, and dressers left in them. Janet had left most of her nice dresses here, thinking that they would be coming back in a year or two. Hang on. And that she wouldn't need them at the CAB at the cabin. Sure, I spelled that all right. And yeah. Janet had left most of her nice dresses here, thinking at first that they would be coming back in a year or two, and that she wouldn't need them here at the cabin. So Kimberly very carefully packed them all in storage containers for her. They figured they could load everything up. Okay, it's just strange. I got a window right here. I can see outside, and I thought I saw him go by, and I just heard the door close again. And I just saw a shadow go by again. So he probably forgot something, snuck back in. All right. They figured they could load everything except for the small beverage refrigerator and folding table and 2 folding chairs and 2 sleeping bags, and a few personal items that Michael and Benjamin would still need. and be moved to the Jacksons by 10 o'clock. All right. Michael was pulling the van and trailer out of the side yard onto the street when Susan drove up and parked across the street. He finished backing the trailer up next to the curb in front of the house and locked the van. Hello, you must be Kimberly's fiance, Michael. I'm Susan Hampton, Monica's friend. Yes, the realtor, Michael smiled. My dad has the paperwork laid out in the dining room. Great. I got 3 buyers who are bidding on your property, she smiled back. Follow me, I'll take you to them. He waved her onward as he walked up the driveway. They got to the garage door just as Benjamin and Kimberly were carrying a foosball table out of the house into the garage. Dad, this is Mrs. Hampton. Miss Susan. Interjected quickly. Quick. Interject. Miss Hampton, the realtor, Michael blushed. Oh, give us a couple seconds. A little further, Kimberly. That's good. Set it down. After they set the table down, Benjamin wiped his hands on a towel that was on the table and handed it to Kimberly. This way, Susan. He gestured towards the door that led from the garage into the house. Okay, so how much do you owe on the property? Susan asked, and then mouthed hi to Kimberly. Nothing, is paid for. That'll make selling it easier. How come? No lenders involved. Kimberly and Michael were finishing helping Monica back her trailer into the driveway when Benjamin and Susan came out of the house. Hey, Susan, Monica said as soon as she was out of her pickup. How'd it go? We had a little bidding war. We were able to get a lot more than I initially thought, she smiled. The money is in the bank, and I got an offer on yours if you want to sell it. Hang on here. Let me get this in. If you want to sell your place too, L-A-C-E, not S-E. Dummy. You want to sell your place too? No, Monica said quickly, then hesitated. How much? Well, because yours is 5 acres with a working well, 2.25 million cash only, or 3.5 with financing, which takes 30 days. Oh my, Monica gasped. Do you want to do it? Let me think about it. Don't wait too long. Some of these offers go fast as they find something else. I'll call you later with my decision. Okay, I got to go file these papers with the county, Susan said as she hurried to her car. So, Dad, what do we do next? Get moving. We need to clear everything out by noon. Then get the John Deere, and you can take it to the cabin and come right back. I'll go get the dump trailer like you suggested and a couple of rabbit hutches, and chicken coops. And so I think I put too many ands in there. I'll go get the dump trailer like you suggested and a couple rabbit hutches, comma, chicken coops, comma, and take it and leave the trailer and take it and Monica's trailer up to the cabin tonight. Kimberly and I will take my trailer and follow Michael to the cabin when he takes the John Deere up. Then you can take your trailers up tonight. Kimberly and I will load our stuff. We'll take a load of our stuff to Jake's. She held up a hand to stop Kimberly from protesting. Whether we wind up staying at Jake's or not, our belongings will be stored there away from the city. We will need to make a couple trips to clear out our house. If people realize we're not there, someone could break in and take our stuff, or they could cause a fire. If those are the most likely things that are going to happen to our home, why don't you just sell it? At least then you get money out of it. You could buy more gold and silver, and if this blows over, the housing prices will drop. You can pick one out that's easier to take care of. Heck, if nothing happens to the house, you could buy it back for less than what you sold it for. Kimberly ranted as she walked back and forth. SCHE, scheming. She ran it as she walked back and forth, scheming. Walked back and forth, scheming. Her rants have a valid point, Michael said, and bit his lip as soon as he said it. He knew he had put his foot into it. When he turned to meet Kimberly stare, her burning gaze confirmed it. Rants? Yes, he thought quickly. Randomly artistic, naturally talented suggestions. Benjamin started laughing so hard he doubled over, holding his side. Holding his side. Monica was trying to stifle her laugh and blew snot out her nose, and then lost her composure. Composure, laughing openly too. Michael was able to keep a straight face and asked, "What?" Kimberly looked from one to the other, not knowing if Michael was innocently being serious or trying to pull off a fast one, or if the adults thought it was incredible, or the adults just thought it was incredibly funny. Finally, she got up in Michael's face and pointed a finger at his nose and said one word, truth. Michael dropped his innocent look and took her hand and kissed her finger. Truth, I find your rants enlightening. Don't ever stop having them. Truth, I put my foot in my mouth by using wrong words sometimes. I would never purposely pick on you in a mean way. But you'd pick on me in a not mean way? She asked with a cockeyed look. Of course, Michael said, smiled broadly. If you burp at a good moment, I will tease you. And if it's a really big one, I'll make a real big deal by laughing my fanny off. And I expect the same from you. I expect you to call me on my oh poops, or where can I go to hide moments. I love you. You're the best part of me. Kimberly smiled. Okay. Just don't pick on me when I fart. Don't kick on me when I fart. Oh, those are the best times to pick on. He smiled evilly. Benjamin was finally bringing his laughter under control and catching his breath and gasped out. If you do sell, you might want to look at a travel trailer you can tow with a pickup, or better yet, get an RV which you can tow the pickup. Monica smiled at that suggestion but said nothing. That's a great idea. We can hook power and water and sewer to it easily. Mom, if you sold the house for that much, you could get both. and set the trailer up at the cabin as our backup plan, Kimberly added, then smiled. You could get that Ford Escape you've been eyeing and give me the pickup. Monica shot Kimberly a questioning look. Just saying. Hang on. Kimberly said as she sauntered over to the back door of the trailer and started to open it. Monica chortled and shook her head. Michael hurried over to help Kimberly lower the back door into a ramp. I can do it by myself, she said proudly. I know, but it's easier with two. Okay, let's get this loaded so we get to the cabin. And then whispered, hang on, let me put in. Then whispered privately, PR. M-I-C-H-A. And then whispered privately to Michael, and then you can show me your room. With pleasure, Michael whispered back. Michael, Benjamin, Kimberly, and Monica stopped in Mesa to pick up the John Deere mini excavator that Michael had found on Craigslist. It came with a trailer, three different width backhoes, three different width buckets, a thumb grapple attachment, a post hole digger, a brush hog mower, and a brush hog mower. They checked the pieces out and everything looked to be in good shape. The woman that was selling it said she just got divorced and didn't have a use for it. Benjamin paid her for it, and because of the way froze. Benjamin paid for it, and because of the weight of the trailer, the excavator attachment hooked it to the van so Michael could pull it more safely to the cabin than he could with the Jeep. Benjamin watched them drive off before heading back to Tempe to get a dump trailer, not the dump trailer, to get a dump trailer. On the way, he realized they needed a bigger second vehicle, something like a crew cab pickup, maybe an F-450. Heck, why not get a travel trailer for Michael and Kimberly? They would need a place of their own in a couple of years, he corrected himself. 22 months. All right. Oh. All right. Making some good corrections here. All right. Let's see. Still just the only ones commenting are Phelan and Crew 1351. Kimberly was in a sour mood despite the fact they were driving to Michael's parents' cabin. She wanted to ride with Michael, but he had insisted she ride with her mother. She even tried to play Don't You Love Me card, but Michael trumped it with the It's Because I Love You card, saying that he really needed to concentrate on his driving because he wasn't that comfortable driving the van with a trailer, and he couldn't afford to be distracted by her beauty when he needed to be focusing on the turns of the road. When Kimberly finally gave in and sulked off to the pickup, Monica sighed. She knew it was going to be a long trip. When they passed the Tuba City turnoff, Monica made a comment about how desolate the countryside looked. It's this way all the way to the other side of the Grand Canyon. When we enter the Kaibab National Forest, Kimberly grumbled, still mad about the rioting arrangement. The Grand Canyon. I remember the first time your father took me there. You were barely you were barely over a year old, and we were looking out, and we looked out over the canyon from the lodge. James, and as we were looking out over the canyon from the lodge, James said that if you were lucky, you could honey. Oh my stars! I don't believe it. What, Mom? Your father said that you would honeymoon at the Grand Canyon Lodge. Yeah, right, Kimberly said in a sassy tone. Kimberly Ann Jackson, Monica snapped loudly. You will not disrespect your father's memory with sarcasm. Kimberly was shocked out of her self-depression. Sorry, Mom. Your father had an insight about you, she sighed. He called me about an hour before your accident at school and asked if you were okay. He knew you were going to do martial arts a week before you told us. I should have remembered about the Grand Canyon Lodge when you and Michael got serious. He said that you could honeymoon at the lodge. So he really said that? Wow, Kimberly said, nod in awe. I'll have to tell Michael and see what he thinks about going there for our honeymoon. Feeling better? A little. Hang on, let me get some water. I'm getting a sore throat. Remember, everybody, stay hydrated because you get dehydrated fairly quickly in the wintertime when it's below freezing. Benjamin called Janet and told her what he thought. Told her what he wanted to do as far as a bigger vehicle and dump trailer. To his surprise, she readily agreed and said she was getting worried about the van with all the extra stress being put on it, towing the trailer and heavy loads. He told her what the realtor told Monica she could get for where was it? Her property, and she just about fainted. You got to be kidding. She didn't jump at it? No, although the facts are starting to weigh on her, Kimberly went on a rant, asking questions and making suggestions faster than anyone could. She even suggested they sell a house and get a travel trailer to put at the cabin and get an RV to take to Jake's place. That's not a bad, hang on. That's not a bad idea, Janet said. We might want to get a small travel trailer for Michael and Kimberly. That's the other that's the other reason I called. You got a trailer for them? No. To get your permission first. Since when do you get my permission? Since we got married. That long? Yes, dear. Thank you, dear. They both chuckled at the routine they had when one really wanted to do something and wasn't sure how to ask, and the other teasing them about it. Usually Benjamin asking and Janet teasing. So what size are you thinking about getting them? A small model with 2 bedrooms. They'll need an extra bedroom in a year or two after they get married in 22 months. Benjamin said in such a matter of fact that he almost didn't believe they weren't going to get married much sooner. Well, I suppose that would push back the need to build a cabin for him for a few more years. But, and that needs to be capitalized because that's starting a whole new sentence there, even though it's a but. But I don't see them wanting to pop out babies until they're closer to 25. Hang on. Explain a little bit better. Years old. But accident happens. And once she has one, hormones will kick in and she'll want more, Benjamin said. I'll see about getting Dr. Braun to give me a prescription for birth control that has a long shelf life. I don't think he will, Benjamin replied skeptically. They don't like to do that sort of thing, do they? Oh, I heard you can get one for several years. Janet replied. Let me put Janet replied on there. There we go. Yeah. Sometimes when I get writing these, I leave out the simple things like who's saying what, because in my mind I know who's saying what. But for people reading it, they're not going to. It may struggle figuring which person out of the group is talking. All right. Monica and Kimberly were following Michael to the Clark's cabin near Jacob Lake, Arizona, to drop off a trailload of their personal belongings and furniture. Michael was towing the flatbed trailer with the John Deere mini excavator and attachments that they bought this morning. They had left the flat high desert of the southeast side of the Grand Canyon and entered into the national forest area of the North Rim side. Now this area is very nice, Monica said as she turned the pickup onto the dirt road that led to the cabin. Looks better than Jake's, doesn't it? You're not going to give up, are you? No, I love you too much to let you die there. Monica didn't have a comeback for that, so she changed the subject. So what type of RV do you think we should get? Actually, I was thinking that a trailer, a smaller one that you can handle towing with a pickup would be better for Jake's. Or one that we could back into the barn with just a bedroom, bathroom, and kitchen. When we have to dug out, we can still tow it at a decent speed with the truck. We can toss our important keepsakes in it. Or if we have to leave it behind, it won't be a big deal. That's not a bad idea, but I would hate to leave some of our more precious mementos if you're right. I have an idea for that too, but I'll have to wait a few more minutes to show you, Kimberly said tentatively. But I still say you need to get a bigger trailer. But I still say you should get a bigger trailer for Michael to bring here for you. And where will you be staying? With you until Michael and I get married, she said flatly. That will give Michael and I time to build our log cabin. Log cabin, Monica exclaimed. That's kind of primitive, isn't it? Not really. You see some of the cabins I found on the internet. It'll take work, but we can do it. Do you have the tools? Crap. Kimberly exploded, followed very quickly by sorry. Monica chuckled. There's more to life than you first think of or second think of. That's true, baby. That's true. That is true. Michael slowed and turned on his turn signal and swung wide into the driveway to the cabin. Kimberly started getting very antsy in anticipation of seeing the cabin from the ground. There was only so much she could make out from Google Earth. Her head was moving like a bobblehead doll on a swivel. She was looking everywhere at once as they cleared the last bit of thick trees and broke into the meadow where the cabin, the Clark's cabin sat. Kimberly stared in awe. My goodness, that is beautiful. Yes, it is, Monica agreed. Get. I don't know why my eyes are gunking up so much in here. Uh, they as they got about 40 yards from the house. Michael slowed and stopped the van. Then he got out and jogged back to where back to the pickup to. He got out and jogged back to the pickup to Monica's window. Let me change that. Driver's side of the there we go. Come on, why isn't it doing it? It's supposed to do that. I hate it when it loses the autocorrect. Yeah, the newer I write this on another computer that has an older version of Microsoft Office, and the newer computer in here has a much newer version, which is still getting uploads all the time. And when Microsoft does uploads to a Microsoft Office, a lot of times they screw up and don't take the auto correct format in the document and keep it. They try to rewrite the autocorrect formulas in there, so it loses stuff that should be capitalized and stuff automatically on other computers. All right, then he got out and jogged back to the driver's side of Monica's pickup. I'm going to pull around behind the garage. Why don't you swing wide to the right here and circle around the front of the garage so you can back straight into the left, straight up to, hang on, up to the left bay door. It's okay to drive on the grass. Yeah, we do it all the time. It's tough grass, not like the lawns at our houses back in the city, he snickered. Okay, not entirely convinced it was okay. Michael jogged back to the van and driveway across the grass and drove around behind the garage to drop the trailer off with the John Deere excavator and the attachments. Monica sighed and started to follow Michael's path and then cut back to the left to circle around in front of the garage. Just then, Janet came out of the house, waved at her and smiled, so she continued on. When she was back onto the gravel, come on. So she continued on, and then when she was back on the gravel driveway, she backed up to the garage. As she got close, Janet started guiding her with more helpful hand signals. When she slowed to stop, Janet signaled for her to come back a few more feet and then waved to her to stop. That's good, Janet shouted and started walking towards the pickup. Kimberly bailed out of the passenger door of the pickup and ran towards the garage. As she came upon Janet, she paused, gave Janet a quick hug, and took off to find Michael. I hope she doesn't collide too hard with him, Janet chuckled. You're taking them a little better. At times, that was cute, and I have to smile. Every now and then, I get the no girl is good enough for the boy I raised for the past 13 years feeling. Then I remember the looks Benjamin's mom gave me, and I feel guilty and dirty for trying to keep them apart. Yeah, being a mom can drive you bipolar. Sometimes you can't get rid of them fast enough. The next minute you don't want to. You don't want. You don't ever want to let them go. Yeah, it's written right. I just wasn't reading it right. Ah, we got another person in here. Welcome. Um, yeah, that's just about the way of it. Janet sighed too. Out back of the garage, Kimberly ran into Michael and knocked him. I gotta say, out back of the garage, comma into my. Ran into Michael hard, Hard, comma. There we go. Har, not Hae. There we go. Come on. Why isn't it doing it? That's the other thing I hate about the updates to Microsoft Word. It won't, when you correct a word, it still leaves it underlined red, and you got to do all sorts of funky things to get it to the red misspelled to disappear. Kimberly ran into Michael hard, knocking him back into the van as she buried herself into him. I love you. You sure you just about broke a rib with that tackle? Still buried into his chest. She whacked him lightly with her hand. Stop teasing me. I didn't bump you that hard. I know. He wrapped his arms around her and gave her a very firm squeeze. If you hadn't bumped me into the van, you could have landed on top of me. He gave her a devilish grin. She whacked his shoulder in mock surprise and shock. Why, Michael Edward Moore, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. We have 22 months before we do that. And you don't want, he started, and she quickly put her finger to his lips. I don't want to talk about it. Sorry, I guess my timing for teasing is off a bit. It was a difficult trip. It was a difficult trip here away from you, but so close. Hang on, I need to put a comma in here. I know, comma. But it was more difficult braking and keeping that heavy load and wiggly trailer on the road. I couldn't stand it if I wrecked and killed. I couldn't stand it if I wrecked and killed you just because we wanted to be together for a drive. You're right. You suck at timing your teasing, and the trailer was kind of squirrely. I got nervous watching you. She drew a big breath and exhaled it quickly. It sucked. Sorry, he whispered, but hey, he said louder, we're together now, and you can ride back with me. Excuse me. No, you can ride back with me, she said with a sly, wicked smile as she slipped away from him. So we better get unloaded quickly so we can get back on the road, she added with a smile. That's Michael stopped talking and shook his head, totally perplexed. at what he perceived to be conflicting statements and the headache he was getting from trying to fathom her out. That's what I was going to tease you a bit, but I thought better of it as he moved to finish disconnecting the flatbed trailer. Kimberly watched him for a minute, then glanced down at the ground and digging the toe of her shoe into the dirt, said, I was talking with Mom about living here. I said that you and I will need time to build a cabin. She asked if we had all the tools we need, and I realized we don't. She looked at him. Michael, we need to get a portable sawmill to cut the trees for our cabin and building barns, and a planer and a router and a table saw and another other woodworking tools, he moaned as he rubbed his forehead, thinking of all the items they now knew they would need. I have to talk to my mom and call my dad. Can you pull the van around front while I unload the excavator and the attachments? Sure thing, she replied, and then walked around the van, climbed in, and drove it off to the front of the cabin. 10 minutes later, he had the excavator and the attachments unloaded and set in a row along the back of the garage. Then he joined the others in unloading the trailer. 30 minutes more, and they had Monica's trailer unloaded. Let's get some sandwiches before we leave, Janet said as she waved everyone towards the cabin. Michael asked, you coming back with us? Yes, your father and I agreed we need another vehicle, something like an F-450 crew cab for pulling the heavier loads up here. We're getting worried about the stress on the van. She opened the cabin's front door and waved Monica and Kimberly in. That's a good idea, Michael agreed, following Janet inside and closing the door behind him. And I need to bring the Jeep back with a trailer. Won't that be a bit much for the Jeep? Michael asked, with concern heavy in his voice. The trailer will be loaded with a light load, chicken wire, form boards. Your dad bought the dump trailer, but it'll be a 14-footer instead of a 12. He figures the F-450 can handle a lot more and will make fewer trips, and we use it later up here for moving lumber and firewood. That makes sense. With the excavator, we can load and move small boulders for roadblocks or walls, or walls for pig pens and root cellars. Those are great ideas. Those are good ideas, Kimberly interjected. And in the morning, he wants to look at getting a small travel trailer with 2 bedrooms for you two after you are married. Hang on, I want to change the emphasis on that. Boop, boop, boop. Lowercase. After you are married. There we go. Oh. Oh. Okay, come on. There we go. After you were married. Keep it locked and the keys hidden so we don't get tempted, Kimberly said quickly and softly. Agreed, Michael added. Ham or turkey, Janet asked as she pulled out packages of lunch meat. Ham, Michael said quickly. It doesn't make you sleepy. Sounds good, Monica answered. Same here, Kimberly. Mayo, mustard, and relish, please. I'll get them, Michael said, and he started pulling the condiments out of the refrigerator. Cheese, pickles, sweet baby peppers, he asked. Grab it all, Janet said, as she grabbed several table knives and paper plates and handed them out. Make 2 or 3, guys. We won't be stopping to eat, just gas and potty at Sam's in Flagstaff. Mom, cheese and sweet peppers, Kimberly asked as she laid out a dozen slices of bread. Sure, but just a few peppers, Monica replied. Mrs. Clark, for you? Everything, thank you. Michael, I'll have what you're having. That way we don't have to worry about mixing them up. Be careful, she likes to experiment with hot stuff. That explains a lot, Michael roared as he slapped the counter, laughing. What? Kimberly gave him a hard, questioning stare. You are what you eat, hot stuff, and he winked at her so only she could see it. Kimberly blushed. Thank you. Then added, what type of hot sauce have you been eating? Please, Janet moaned. Yeah, get a room, Monica said before she comprehended what was going to happen. Okay, Michael and Kimberly said at the same time and started running from the room. Hold it, that's not what I meant. Darn, dang it, they mocked, groaned as they dragged themselves back to the counter, then giggled as they went back to making the sandwiches. Very funny, Michael, Janet growled. Is the water okay to refill my water bottles? Monica asked. Sure is. It's well water, but it's well water, so it tastes a little different. No chlorine, no metallic taste, and the filter takes out some of the minerals, so it's not so hard. I usually add a flavor pack to mine to hide the chemical taste. Anyways, I like my grape. Said, there we go. I go with lemonade or strawberry usually. Mrs. Clark, Kimberly asked gently, can Michael ride with me and my mom ride with you? Janet glanced over at Monica, who mouthed, please. I guess so. Kimberly started to charge her and give her a hug, but came up short when she saw that Janet had an armful of condiments. Thank you. No problem. Just open the refrigerator for me. Sure thing. She moved quickly to open the door. Let me take these. She started taking the condiments from Janet 2 at a time and putting them in the refrigerator door shelf. I'll wash the knives, Michael said as he gathered them up. Soon they were on the road back to Tempe. Kimberly and Michael in the van, and Monica and Janet in the F-150. It was almost 9 o'clock when they pulled into the driveway at Monica's house. At first, all they saw was the 1969 Jeep Wagoneer and the Clark's 14-foot trailer parked in front of the garage. Then they saw a new dark gray Ford F-650 4x4 crew cab pickup parked in the yard next to the house. As Michael pulled the van over in front of the F-550, its headlights lit up the area. They saw Benjamin using screw jacks to level the travel trailer that was parked behind the F-450. Sorry. Monica suggests everyone use the showers in the house so they don't fill up the holding tank on the trailer. Michael volunteered to go first so his parents and Monica could talk and plan out what they would be doing in the morning. Kimberly showed him to the bathroom and gave him a towel to use. Then she went back into the living room and asked her mom if she could use her shower. Monica looked at her with a puzzled look because of the quiver in Kimberly's voice. What? Kimberly asked because the look her mother was giving her. Tell me what's wrong. She opened her mouth. Hang on. Kimberly opened her mouth and started to speak when she clamped it shut as a tear formed on her cheek. That's okay, baby. You can tell me, Monica said in a reassuring voice. Kimberly glanced at Janet and blushed. We won't judge you, Janet said. Promise? We promise, Benjamin said. Michael's being so strong-willed and trustworthy, and I'm faltering. I don't know if I can keep my promise to wait 22 months. After I gave him a towel and walked away, I almost turned around to go join him in the shower. I didn't care what any of you would say. I wanted to go be with him. But you didn't turn around, did you? Benjamin stated more than asked. No, she hung her head and shook. Why? Because I would have disappointed him by not being strong and true. So you care about his feelings more than your own. That's the sign of true love. You're strong. You are strong. You admitted your desires and you overcame them. But I don't know if I can keep it up. I'm afraid I'm going to give in. Admitting your fear is the first step in defeating it. Talk to Michael in the morning. Tell him your fears. He'll give you strength. Benjamin smiled. Together you both can be stronger. Kimberly took a deep breath and sighed. Okay. Go ahead and use my shower, Monica said, and she patted her daughter's hand. Just have Michael. Hang on. Okay. Just have Michael go to the trailer before I get out. I get out, please, Kimberly pleaded. We will, Janet said, exhaling heavily through her nose. Then added, I wish that I'd been as strong as you are now. Kimberly just nodded that she understood and backed away a few steps before turning and walking out of the room. She's quite a young woman, Benjamin said after Kimberly was out of earshot. Yes, she is, Monica agreed. She gets it from her father. She gets a bit from you too, Janet countered. You've had to be strong after James died. So you did set an example for her to follow. But she knows I literally threw myself at James before we were 18 and got pregnant, but I miscarried. I had an abortion at 16, Janet blurted out. I went to a backstreet doctor who butchered me up so much that Benjamin and I could never have children, Janet added haltingly. I should have talked to Benjamin first. I didn't know how much he loved me until it was too late. She reached over and squeezed his hand. But then we might not have had the opportunity to raise so many needy children or wind up adopting Michael, Benjamin refuted with a smile. We love him like he was our own flesh. He is special. You did a great job raising him, Monica said. Kimberly couldn't do much better. I'm glad they found each other. Should we let them get married now? Benjamin asked. No, Janet and Monica said together. They set the date. We should honor that decision until they come to us and request that we let them change it, Janet said. I agree, Monica continued. If we let them get married before they're 18, I just, she struggled with the words, I don't think we'd be supporting them in the right way. We'd be undermining them. Why? Is there some reason we should let them get married now? Janet asked Benjamin. With a bit of urgency in her voice. No, I just wanted to make sure we're all staying on the same page. So what are the plans for tomorrow? Monica asked. I think we should load up your trailer very early, and you should take Michael to help you guys unload quickly so you can get back before dinner time. While we finish loading the fence and the fencing, animal feed in the morning, and we'll look into what livestock we can get tomorrow. Benjamin verbalized as he thought. That sounds like a good idea, Monica said, considering it. For our cabin, we'll have to set up the chicken coop and build the fencing for a chicken run before we can get any chickens. The same is true for pigs, goats, and sheep. For cows, we can run several strands of barbed wire around some large trees and put in some T-posts in the gaps and call them good for a few weeks. I want Janet and I to make a run with fencing supplies as soon as we have the trailer loaded. I want to be back by 7 tomorrow night so we can help load your trailer for another trip on Sunday. Not waste any time helping with our stuff. If you're going to help us with livestock, we need to be ready to receive them first, which means keeping them safe with fences and pins. So it's might as well get your stuff moved first while Janet and Michael build fences and pins. Once we have the things you want moved, taken care of, then we can all finish knocking out the pens and get livestock. He breathed. He took a breath. After you see how we're getting set up, you should look into some livestock of some sort at Jake's. Rabbits or chickens, I would think, but that's up to you, Benjamin explained. I'll talk to Jake and see what he thinks. After a few minutes, Michael came into the living room. Thanks for the use of the shower, Mrs. Jackson. Not a problem. Benjamin stood up. Michael, he began to walk over, put his hands on his shoulders. Kimberly needs your support in staying strong. She almost walked in and joined you in the shower. Is that what you really want to happen? No, of course not, Michael protested. Then you need to have a talk with her and buoy up her resolve. She told us that she's afraid of faltering and causing you to break your promise. about staying pure until you're married. I see Michael breathed heavily out through his nose. Should I talk to her tonight? She said to get you out of the house before she gets out of the shower. Michael got a puzzled look. Did she say, and hurt look on his face. Did she say why? Monica snickered. Have to watch her attack you with a permanent lip lock. Oh, I guess I better get to the trailer. Michael said, like a light bulb just came on. We're going to get up early and load the Jacksons' trailers, and you will go with them to Jake's and get them back by dinner time. Okay. Oh, hang on. That's just an apostrophe instead of a quote. There we go. And, okay, 11 o'clock. Wow. I'm still in chapter 8. I think chapter 9 is going to be a short chapter. That's why I put 2 of them on here. Then he turned to Monica. If you don't mind, I would like to take about 4 or 5 minutes up there to do a quick security assessment of the place. I think that'd be a good idea. Monica pursed her lips thoughtfully and nodded. She turned the shower off. Janet said, I'm out of here. You can give her the pep talk on the road tomorrow, Benjamin said quickly as Michael made a beeline for the front door. Okay, and yes, that's the end of chapter 8. Let's get on 9 here. We got a little over an hour to knock it out. And I need to add the date to it like the others, 2037. All right. Michael woke up early as usual and tried to get dressed with as little noise as possible. He was lacing up his boots when Benjamin spoke up. Are you in a hurry or can't you sleep? Hurry, Michael said truthfully, then added plainly. You said we needed to get the trailer loaded so we get to Jake's and get it unloaded and get back before dinner. Yes, I did. Then to quote John Wayne, we're burning daylight, Michael smiled to himself because he knew that Janet would poke Benjamin in the side because Michael had beat him to using the quote. Is that what I smell burning? Janet said sarcastically. And here I thought it was the neighbors with a fireplace going. That may be so, but still, it's almost 6 o'clock and we got a lot to do this morning so we can get on the road. Michael stood, tucked his shirt tail in. I'd rather start on the road in the dark than finish a trip in the dark. Benjamin groaned as he sat up. I agreed. We'll see you in the garage. Michael opened the door and was assailed by a smell of smoke and quickly pulled it back closed. There is something burning in the neighborhood, he said. Then opened the door again and quickly stepped out and closed the door of the trailer behind him, trying to keep as much of the smell out of the trailer as he could. The side door to the garage had a combination key and cipher code lock mechanism. Monica had given it to Janet and Benjamin before they went out to the travel trailer the night before. Michael was still up searching the web when they came to bed, so they gave it to him. Michael unlocked the door, went inside the door about halfway and felt around for the light switch. Wait a second, I'll get the lights. Kimberly's voice came from the dark reaches of the garage. Jeez, Michael yelped. You scared the bejeebers out of me. What's a bejeeber? What's a bejeebers? I'm not sure, but I only have so many of them, and if I lose them all, my heart croaks. Well, then I'll just have to give you mouth to mouth. No, Kimberly, Michael said suddenly, very seriously, we've got to stop that type of joking. It's taking a toll on both of us. The lights came on. Kimberly stood by the door going into the house with her head hanging down. I'm sorry, I really didn't mean anything by it. I know, Michael sighed. But her parents night. She spun around ready to spew anger at their telling her when she saw the look in his eyes. It was a look of concern and fear. We have been remaining strong by a thread. If you'd knocked on that door, I would have pulled you into the shower with me. He closed his eyes and blew his breath out hard. Then we both would have regretted it for the rest of our lives. I know, I've seen the looks on both our moms' faces, Kimberly noted, and took a couple steps towards Michael. I think that our holding out is, well, some sort of pride for them that they succeeded with us or they failed for themselves. Kimberly finished for him and took a couple more steps. Yeah, I think that's part of it. He dropped almost to a whisper. I think there's an underlying fear that we'll jump the gun like they did. I hate having everybody else's load heaped on my shoulders. She ran to him and wrapped her arms around him. I'm sorry for dumping my weakness and desires on your shoulders. She began to sob lightly. Michael wrapped his arms around her, one around her waist and the other up her back to cradle her head. We can do this. I'm not so sure. I am. He eased his hug and leaned back a little bit, getting her to do the same. You're my super hot, sexy ninja and Major Jackson's daughter. You can kick my butt anytime you want. There's nothing I can do about it. Baloney, she smiled for the first time. You're my super scout and you can figure out anything. I figure we better get busy loading the trailer before my parents come in and get the wrong impression. Right, she gave him another quick hug and let go and walked over to push the garage door opener. We've put ourselves in quite a spot, haven't we? Haven't we? Yeah, love sucks sometimes. No, being in love with constraint sucks, Michael countered with a sour face. They each grabbed the latch handle for the back of the trailer that had been backed up against the garage roll-up door. Unlocked it and pulled the ramp door down. Still, this waiting to fully express our love is stressful, she said as she picked up a work drop light. Oh, hang on, just got a text, probably from my daughter. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So, yeah, I will be wrapping this up before noon because I got to head across the street. Eli was banging his head on things again early this morning and split his lip, and she took him to the ER to get it sewn up. And they gave him some medications to calm him down so they could sew it up. And he's currently asleep. and she wants to know if I'll come over there and and stay with Eli. Hang on, I'm getting the STA with Eli. The wrong one. With Eli. All right, there we go. So yeah, Oliver's got to be taken to kindergarten at noon. So let's get at this so I can get done. And I can go over there and keep an eye on him while he's sleeping. Make sure he doesn't get anything if he wakes up while she's gone. He would panic if she was gone when he woke up. Oh yeah, love side. No, be in love with his son. H grab that. She said as she picked up a work drop light and plugged it in. True. Michael paused for a second and continued with his thoughts. But it does give us time to plan our honeymoon. About that, Kimberly hesitated as she hung the drop light in the back of the trailer. I have a special request. Michael stepped up to her and put a hand on her shoulder. What is it? She took a breath and blew it out through her nose and spoke. When I was a little baby, my mom and dad went to the north rim of the Grand Canyon, and my mom swears that my dad said that I would stay there for my honeymoon. I would like to do that for him. Michael turned her around and hugged her tightly. I'd be happy to do that. Good, she squeezed and released him. It's close to the cabin, should still be safe to go there. He released her and smiled down at her face. We better start moving boxes and other stuff before it walks in and think we're getting frisky with each other. They wouldn't think that, she says. She picked up a storage container. Why wouldn't they? Michael asked quickly before the adults arrived, because he was very curious to know why they wouldn't think that. Because they know if I go beyond heavy kissing, I'm going all the way with you. She slammed the container in the corner of the trailer harder than she intended. Then we'll have to make sure that we keep it shy of heavy kissing. No touchy feeling, no copying the feel, no shoulder rubs, no back rubs. They're too sensual. Hang on here. Kimberly finished. Finished for him. Michael Gulp. Okay, we can wait to do that. He set his container on the one that Kimberly had tossed in the corner. She picked up another container and turned back to the trailer. It's more than just waiting. She gave a frustrated sigh and looked at Michael. It's not knowing if we're doing the right thing in leaving Tempe. Is everything going to go down the toilet? If it does, do we have enough supplies to survive the long run? With what we have now, yes, we will survive, Michael stated with total conviction. And if we're able to get what we're planning on getting in the next couple of days, then we will thrive. And the longer everyone keeps buying into the story that everything's going to be all right, the more supplies and livestock we can get, and the better off we'll be. Then I hope the masses stay fat, dumb, and happy. You started walking with the container again. But until we are secure with everything we need, I need to put a comma in another period. I need to know. I know I sound mean, but that's the way. Hey, okay, I got it here. I need to switch things up here to make it look right. Let me put that up at the front. Take this out. See, because change. Okay, let's reread that. She started walking with the container again. Then I hope that the masses stay fat, dumb, and happy, because until we are secured with everything we need, I'm going to take because out of there. All right, now I'm going to try again. Then I hope the masses stay fat, dumb, and happy until we are secured with everything we need. I know that sounds mean, but that's the way I see it right now. That's hard, I agree, but not mean. We need to take care of us first. Michael's right, Benjamin said as he stepped around the end of the trailer into the garage. Then we can expand to bringing in others when the time is right, Janet said as she entered the garage. Bringing others in? Kimberly asked in surprise. Yes. Yes. At some point, we will need to find other survivors. Doctors, nurses will be at a premium, as well as an herbalist, mechanic, chemist, a veterinarian, to name a few. We will have to make a list of professional skills that we will need to recruit, Benjamin said as he picked up a box. Kimberly and Michael both started to talk and then looked at each other with a puzzled look. What do we say now? What do we say now? Looks on their faces. What? Aren't we a little late in starting a survivalist group? Michael asked. Yes, we are. Benjamin agreed. Really late. So we're not going to. We're looking at rescuing those with skills we need and bringing them to a location that is not only safe but also produces food. They will be indebted to us all the more, he said as he stacked the box into place. What? Michael exclaimed. You're planning on bringing strangers to the cabin, to our last resort holdout? No, Benjamin held up his hands to stop Michael from saying something they all would regret. To the North Rim facilities. They're already shutting it down. The road is closed for the winter because of the snow. Come spring, when everybody gets hit. Excuse me. Come spring, come spring, if everywhere gets hit like we believe, then they won't be coming back to reopen it. All those houses and barns and maintenance buildings will not be used. We will block off the highway and forest roads with a bunch of downed trees in multiple locations, so no one takes time to go to a visitor center that's been closed since the asteroid passed, when they're trying to survive. If we work it right, we can set up a nice survival community that's able to survive the winters. It will have all of the people with skills we need to rebuild in about 5 years, Janet said as she set her box down and held up her hands with fingers crossed. How are we supposed to do that? Michael asked, concern very apparent in his voice. I talked to the Millers at Jacob Lake Inn. They like the idea and are getting others there to get everyone organized to go rescue people if things get as bad as we believe they will. They have a couple of them up there that are into ham radio big time, and they're going to monitor transmission for those looking for help and for those that are setting up redoubts and other sanctuaries. Ben said, but I'm getting so sleepy. I apologize, everyone. Shady Hill Homestead's here. Benjamin said, Benjamin grunted as he picked up a heavy container. So how many people will be involved with this project? Kimberly asked hesitantly. There are about 15 families in the immediate area. Bob said that several of them have families in the nearby town of Fredonia, and that they were thinking of moving out this way, out that way, to get away from town, as it is on the main highway and not easily secured like they can do at Jacob Lake. How many more families? Michael asked a bit frustratedly. 3 so far that he was willing to tell me about. Benjamin sighed, holding another container. Look, you guys, Bob's been as open as he felt he could, but his first loyalties are to his families and friends. He's not going to lay all his cards on the table at our first meeting. Michael sighed heavily. I guess you're right about that. He sucked on his lower lip and waved his arms to the side as he continued people into our cabin area. It was supposed to be a refuge from the masses. Ugh. That's why we're going to wait until spring to gather survivors in, and then let them only see the North Rim. That's not what's at the cabin area, Janet said as she set up another set another box down in the trailer. Well, Michael thought for a few seconds. It takes about an hour to drive to the North Rim, so they won't be hunting around the cabin. We'll have to come up with some rules for those that come to the rim site. I mentioned that to Bob, and added, I'll recommend that they get ready to drop some trees to turn traffic around a mile or two away on the highway. Also to limit access to our area. That would help, Kimberly mused. We may need to place lookouts to give everyone at Jacobs Lake a heads up if anyone comes around or moves. Anybody goes around. Sorry, anyone goes around or moves the down trees. I'll mention that too. Hey guys, Monica said from the doorway to the house, I made some Eggo waffles if anybody's hungry. Sure, Michael exclaimed. Sounds good, Mom. And she teasingly shoved Michael towards the door. That it does, Benjamin added, setting another container down in the trailer. The prisoner was shoved so roughly into the back seat of the small four-door sedan that his head hit the far door. He was used to the shoves into vehicles. His captors took the changing of locations of opportunities to abuse his body with unexpected punches and shoves into things. The hood that he continuously kept over his head during the moves had always prevented him from seeing where he was at when they were where he was or where they were taking him. However, when one of his captors grabbed his jacket and pulled him back upright, the material of the oversized hood caught on the door handle that his head had banged into and pulled it from his head. Knowing that there was a captor on his right, he immediately closed his right eye but kept the other open. The gamble paid off. There was not anybody looking at him on the left side of the vehicle, and he got a decent look of his surroundings on the left side of the vehicle. He spotted a landmark he recognized and knew where he was. He fought the urge to smile, keeping his face emotionless. Suddenly, a hand grabbed his jaw and roughly turned his head to the right. He squinted the left eye shut as soon as the hand touched his jaw. Good, keep eyes closed, the man said in very broken English and heavy accent. Maybe me no punish you. Then he laughed and jerked the hood back over the prisoner's face. We go now. No, now we go. After breakfast, they finished loading the Jackson's trailer and staged more of their belongings in the garage. Janet offered to go to Home Depot and get more of the plastic storage containers and cardboard storage boxes. Monica gracefully accepted the offer and noted that they should get on the road. Benjamin agreed and double-checked the truck. The truck and trailer quickly to make sure it was secured and the tires were fine. Monica, Kimberly, and Michael headed out to Jake's just as the sun began to rise. Michael opted to sit in the back seat by himself, despite Monica saying it was fine to sit in the front seat with Kimberly. He and Kimberly wound up working on their laptops, downloading manuals on caring for cows, sheep, chickens, rabbits, and other small farm livestock. I didn't realize how much there was to do in raising farm animals, Kimberly exclaimed as she saved another PDF manual. I know, Michael agreed, starting to download some veterinary medicine books because of the thing. Michael agreed. I started to download some veterinary medicine books because of some of the things I read in some of the how-to manuals. They just don't cover what to do for a lot of medical problems. That's a great idea, Monica chimed in. You might want to find some books on plant diseases, especially for trees. We may also want some books on natural and herbal medicines, Kimberly noted, and on natural childbirth. Michael added, regretting it as soon as he said it. Monica swerved the truck a little. Hang on here. The truck a little. Don't mention that, at least not for another year. I'm still getting used to the idea that my baby's in love. Mom, Kimberly said exasperately, cut my husband to be some slack. Monica groaned like she had a severe migraine. Don't rub it in. At least we're waiting almost 2 years to get married, Kimberly said slyly, and said slyly and then added, that means you won't be a grandmother for about 3 years. Really? Monica shouted. Grandmother? Not funny, my ninja, Michael said softly. Kimberly looked questioningly at him in the back seat and opened her mouth as to what he meant. Please don't. I can't take it right now. I screwed up with what I said about babies. Sorry, guys. Just nervous banner. I didn't mean anything by it, Kimberly said a bit sorrowfully. I know, honey, Monica said and reached over and patted her leg. We're all under a lot of stress. You're just trying to You're just trying to find a way to deal with it. I know she took a breath. I don't want to harass you about this right now, but if we would go to the Clarks, I'd be less of a whacked out witch. You're not a witch, Monica and Michael said together. See, Michael pointed out cheerfully, your mother and I agree. I had something here, Kimberly said. Hopefully that's not the only time, Kimberly said. Time will tell, Monica said softly. Janet was at Home Depot at 6 o'clock when they opened and picked up 24 of the black containers of yellow lids. She got 12 for the Jacksons and 12 for her storing storing the chicken and rabbit feed in. When she got back to the Jacksons' house, she found that Benjamin had staged most of the items Monica said needed to be moved to the garage. They unloaded the 12 containers from Home Depot in the garage and went about packing the Jacksons' items until it's time to go to the feed supply and get the hutches for the chickens and rabbits. They hooked up their cargo trailer to the 1969 Jeep Wagoneer and the 14-foot dump trailer to the F450 4x4 crew cab pickup. They parked the Chevy one-ton van in front of the travel trailer to keep anybody from hooking up to it and take it. Keep anybody from trying to hook up to it and take it. Once they felt it was secured, they headed out for their morning supply run. It was a little after 9 o'clock. By a little after 9 o'clock, they were on the road to the cabin. They had a chicken hutch and a rabbit hutch loaded in the cargo trailer, along with 20 rolls of chicken wire and 50 10-foot 4x4 posts. 50, hang on, I'm getting lost here. Along with 20 rolls of chicken wire and 50 10-foot 4x4 posts, 4x4 pressure treated posts. Oh, that's what's wrong. I need to put a comma in here. There we go. Now it makes sense to my addled brain. 50 4x4 pressure treated posts, 200 pressure treated 12-foot 2x6s to make the runs for the rabbits and the chickens and rabbits, as well as the containers from Home Depot, 4 dozen watering bottles for the rabbits, and a dozen 5-gallon watering cans for chickens. 2 incubators for and 2 incubators for baby chicks. In the dump trailer, they had several pallets of rabbit and chicken food loaded. They also picked up 10 spools of barbed wire, 200 T-posts, a case of tie wire, and 20 sections of portable corral fencing. In the Jeep, they had loaded 6. All right, someone's coming over here. Let me go check, see what's going on. I'll be right back. Hang on here. All right. Oh, ow.
It's just Eli. He wanted to come over after he was charging after all.
Oh, he woke up.
He woke up and he gets up, gets a little agitated, and he goes right to sleep. But right now he got glue, so he keeps trying to pull it off.
Okay. All right, good. Now I can get back in here. Okay, yeah. So for those that heard earlier, Eli did wake. He woke up from his medication, and he was kind of agitated. So Megan brought him over here so he'd stop chasing after his younger brother. All righty, and let's get rid of that. And back up here to comments. And all right, okay. All right, got a couple still here. All right. Da, 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 da. And Jeep, Janet was nervous about driving the Jeep with a 14-foot cargo trailer behind it. It was struggling up the hills and was hard to keep slow going downhill through the curves. As such, she drove a little slower than normal, and the trip took 30 minutes longer, so they didn't get to the cabin until 2. They decided they would leave the unloading of the cargo trailer until Benjamin or Michael made another trip up, and then could help unload it then. For now, they backed the dump trailer up to the garage and unloaded the animal feed from it. Then they pulled around back and unloaded the rest near where they were going to build the barn and corral and chicken run. After a quick bite to eat, Benjamin was headed back to Tempe. Monica slowed down as they neared the town of Nutresto. What's wrong? Kimberly asked with concern in her voice. Nothing. I just remembered you made a promise to Ma Jackson. Oh, yeah, that's right. Kimberly smiled as she turned around to look at Michael. Ma Jackson is the lady that sold us the trailer. She wants to meet you. Okay, Michael responded, unsure to what to make of this development. Is there anything I need to worry about? How many oatmeal butterscotch chip cookies you can eat? Butterscotch chip cookies you eat. Too many. Michael rolled his eyes. Thinking. That was INK. Thinking about the last time he pigged out on cookies and the sugar headache he got afterwards. Kimberly watched Michael's face get a sickly expression, and she burst out laughing. You're gonna have to tell me what you did, huh? Your face turned slightly pale. She was chuckling. You must have had a bad experience with cookies or butterscotch. Both. They're too daggone good. Oh, another weakness. Cookies. She laughed loudly. That's better than your being ticklish. How's that? Monica asked before she realized she didn't want to hear. He can't fight being tickled, but he can't fight being tickled. He can't fight cookies. Monica sighed in relief and smiled. Your father had a weakness for peanut butter and honey sandwiches. Is that why you make them at night? Kimberly asked, looking intently at her mother. There's something to remember him by. Monica pulled hang on. I don't need to have the trailer on there because off the road with TR with the trailer onto the wide shoulder where they first spotted it. This is Ma Jackson's house, Kimberly said as she opened the door of the pickup. Michael closed his laptop and set it on the seat beside him and groaned as he tried to stretch his muscles to get the kinks out in the tight space of the extended cab. What are the chances she doesn't have any cookies? I don't know, Kimberly said as she grabbed hold of grabbed the hold of the door midway up the wet frame and rested her chin on her hands. When we bought the trailer, she said she makes them for the neighborhood kids to stop by in the afternoon. So the chances aren't good, Michael said as he slipped from the back seat of the truck. Kiss Kimberly gently on the lips and gently and quickly on the lips. Kimberly closed her eyes and sighed. Sorry, he said quickly. Didn't mean to stress you, didn't. That was nice and romantic. She took his hand in hers and started walking towards Ma Jackson's house. We're not going to make it 22 months, she said, stating matter-of-factly, unless we're fighting brigands and too busy to think of anything else. That's what I was thinking, Michael agreed. Like maybe September or July, Michael took a breath. And if we're busy fighting brigands, raiders, and such, it may be longer than 22 months. Yeah, she said dryly. Do you two really think it could get as bad as that? get that bad that you would have to go off fighting others? Yes, they both said to get together. Even at Jake's or the cabin, if it starts going to go south, it's going to go south. It's going to go very south, Michael said, picking up on Kimberly, squeezing his hand. And when it does, it will reach Jake's quickly, and maybe the cabin too. It may take until the spring for Jake's, or maybe as soon as the asteroid arrives. Sooner if it changes course and they spot other asteroids trailing after it. Or other reasons that would cause panic in the general population. Once that happened, well, Michael hesitated. The defecation makes contact with the rotary oscillator. What? Michael asked, caught off by the phrase, the defecation make contact with the rotary oscillator. It was one of James' sayings, meaning the poop hits the fan. I wish I could have met him. He saw you, Kimberly said, knowing that what Michael's reaction was going to be. When? 2.5 years ago at the spring competition. Kimberly squeezed Michael's hand again and held the squeeze. He saw me staring at you and told me to go talk to you. He deployed 2 weeks later. Wow, was all Michael was able to get out under his breath. Kimberly was reaching up to knock on the front door of the house when it opened up. Why, Kimberly, Ma Jackson said, I didn't expect to see you so soon. Come in. Thank you, Ma Jackson, Kimberly said. This must be your boyfriend, Michael. Ma Jackson held out a hand to Michael. So you her Eagle Scout. Come in and have some cookies. Michael groaned silently to himself. Thank you, he managed. Hello, Ma Jackson, Monica said as she stepped inside. Well, Monica, they do make a good-looking couple, Ma Jackson said as she looked at Michael and Kimberly. Yes, they do, Monica agreed, and their children would look great, too. Oh, they went and got themselves engaged. Really? Ma Jackson said in a loud, inquisitive voice. So you two are going to get married? In 22 months, they answered. Together, if we can keep our hormones under check, Kimberly added under her breath. That's always been the problem with young love. Mrs. Jackson chuckled, or Ma Jackson chuckled. Ma Johnson chuckled. All right. Hot passion and impatience. That's me, Kimberly exclaimed. Well, admitting it is a good part of the battle to stay virtuous, Ma Johnson said as she gave Kimberly a hug. You can be as strong as you want to, sweetie. Thank you. Kimberly hugged her back. Cousin's place, just about, Monica said. A couple more trips and we'll have everything moved from Tempe. Everything? Ma Jackson asked in surprise. Yeah, we decided to move everything out in case people start rioting and burning houses and businesses like during the police shooting protests. Monica responded gloomily. Burning embers could ignite our property and we lose everything we leave in the house. If I weren't 79, I'd be heading out to my daughter's place in Alaska, but it's too cold and too rough of a lifestyle, she sighed. But I have some grandkids from Phoenix coming to stay with me, so I won't be here alone. Any of them hunters? 2 of them. Why? Well, if things get bad with food supplies, their skills will come in handy. Sort of like your fighting skills, huh? What do you mean? Kimberly asked innocently. Ma Jackson broke out laughing. That is the best innocent face I've seen in years. My grandkids have been getting me into InstaFace and YouTube for keeping up on what they're doing. So I searched YouTube and found videos from your archery competitions and accidentally tagged you for notification like I did with my grandkids. And she opened her laptop and turned on the TV, which is connected via Wi-Fi to the laptop. With a couple keystrokes, a YouTube video popped up. It was from the Venture Crew meeting. I got notified that you were tagged on InstaFace and took a look at the link and saw this. She hit play and they saw that someone had recorded their entire demonstration. When it was over, Kimberly said, "Wow, we need to download that for our kids to watch." You two are pretty impressive. She walked over to Kimberly and took her hands. If you with your skills are getting out of the city, you must know something bad is happening. What is it? Human nature, Michael said. Michael responded before Kimberly could answer. Group panic, riot mode will kick in as soon as we get closer to the date of the asteroid. That the asteroid is supposed to get closer to the date the asteroid is supposed to pass. And if there are smaller asteroids that are spotted trailing behind the larger one, they could get pulled off course towards Earth. If that happens, well, that'll make the panic go so much worse. Ma Jackson nodded and thought for a few moments and then asked, "That's why you ask if any of my grandkids were hunters. You believe it's going to be bad." We believe there's a very high probability that people will freak out and turn into panic mobs in the cities, not so much in the countrysides. Why? Because people out here are more self-sufficient and in touch with nature and natural food sources. She smiled again. That we are for the most part. You may need to stock up on canned and dry foods and have your grandkids do the same. Think long-term foods that you can afford. Well, speaking of foods, I have some cookies in the kitchen. Kimberly, would you be a sweetheart and go get the tray? Sure thing, she said and bounced off towards the kitchen. Ma Jackson turned to Michael. If you love her, how could you shoot arrows at her? Michael chuckled. It was her idea. I tried to change her mind. She first threatened to use me as a punching bag, but settled on tickling me till I agreed to it. How long did that take? About 3 seconds. I'm very ticklish. Michael blushed. I'm very ticklish. Only 3 seconds, Monica asked in disbelief. Yeah, then I ran away and she couldn't catch me. So she promised not to try to tickle me for a month if I at least try a few test shots near her to see if she could grab them. And she did, every one of them. We agreed on using a light poundage bow and only doing 3/4 draws. That way the arrows were not going very fast. In practice, she's got good enough to do it with a full draw. But being we were shooting inside a building, we kept it to the 3/4 draw. What about the tips? We used blunt tips, so I couldn't get cut accidentally, Kimberly said, coming back into the room. But you had him shoot at you? What if you didn't catch the arrow? He would have hit you. Concern showing Ma Johnson's face. Man, he want to say Jackson instead of Johnson for Ma Johnson's face. No, because if Kimberly said, if I missed the arrow, it would have missed my head by several inches. Besides, at that slow speed, I could have caught them in my sleep, sort of. She took a bite of a cookie. I just can't catch Michael with those long legs of his. She winked at Ma Jackson. I think you already have. Hook, line, and cookies. Michael says he took another bite of his cookie, and he's held his hand up to cover his mouth. If you get this recipe, I'll get it for you. Mrs. Maud Johnson laughed as she walked out of the room. I'm worried about her with her house fronting the highway, Kimberly said once Maud Johnson was out of the room. I know this is getting worse than Jake's. We can't save everyone, Monica said softly. All we can do is save ourselves and hope that's enough, then warn others. You're right. I just wish we could do more to help good people like Maud Johnson. Get ready for what's coming. Sorry. Don't worry about me, Maud Johnson said as she came back in the room. I'm 79 and I've lived a full life. I have a bunch of grandkids coming. Maybe more if it gets bad. If it gets as bad as you think it will, we'll be fine. I know you have a Kindle. Would you get some books? The first one's called Blood Moon Falling by Walt Rogers. Another one is Out of the Ashes by William Johnstone. Are you trying to scare an old woman? No, just warn a nice lady who makes the best cookies. Well, I've read most of William Johnstone's Western books, but who's this Walt Rogers? He's a sheriff up in Idaho. There's a lot of government emergency preparedness types recommending his books right now. Kimberly took a deep breath, especially Blood Moon Falling and the rest of that series. Well, I guess I'll be doing some reading tonight. Thank you, Kimberly. Stepped forward and hugged Mrs. Ma Johnson. There, Ma Johnson patted Kimberly on the back. I'll be just fine. A loud engine revved outside and drew everyone's attention to the front window as a big 4x4 pickup pulled into the driveway. That's Bobby, one of my grandsons. I wonder what he's doing here today. They watched as Bobby jumped from the driver's door of the truck and hurried towards the front door, followed by two teenage girls. They ran up the steps and followed Bobby, who was bursting through the front door into the house. Grandma, Grandma, he shouted as soon as he crossed the threshold. Calm down, Bobby, I'm right here. Ma Johnson chuckled. What is you in an uproar? Grandma, Bobby stopped in front of her. Are you all right? Of course I'm all right. Why wouldn't I be? I thought with the asteroid changing direction, it's going to come closer to the Earth. Some of your neighbors might try to take advantage of. Bobby stopped talking and looked to his right and saw Kimberly and his hand followed suit as he extended a finger till he's pointed at her. You hang on, I gotta change this. Hang on here, I gotta do this right here. You're the ninja from Grandma's Instaface post. You think so? Jim smiled. What gave me away? Never mind. What was that about the asteroid changing direction? Donnie said that this Sheriff Walt Rogers, who's some sort of expert on the asteroid, put out that it's going to change its course when it passes. Put out that it changed its course when it passed by Mars, and it's going to arrive early, and it will hit the moon. Kimberly breathed a sigh of relief and smiled. Did you read it anywhere? Hang on, let me make that emphasize the you. Did you read it anywhere? No, it's like crazy. Sheriff Rogers listed as a response source for the government. Him, right along with Professor Raymond Johansson of NASA, right? Kimberly stated more than asked. Yeah. How'd you know? Kimberly walked over to Maud Johnson's laptop. May I? She nodded. Go ahead. Kimberly brought up the Amazon homepage and typed in blood. Kimberly brought up the Amazon homepage and typed in Blood Moon Falling and clicked the search icon. Several choices showed on the screen. The page for and clicked on one. The page for the book opened up and looked inside and scrolled down to acknowledgement. There, Professor Raymond Johansson of NASA, he provided the research material for Sheriff Rogers' novel, for Sheriff Roger for this novel. That's what Don is reading. The excerpts of this are all over the net. You should check in the information before freaking out. But it's a good thing you care about your grandmother so much. Are you one of the kids moving up here? Yeah, but how did Kimberly waved this question off? I told your grandmother to read this book. You should too. It lays out a case scenario that's worse than what the government is putting out. Hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. Bobby nodded. I will see to it everyone in the family reads it. Good. We've got to get going, Kimberly turned back to Ma Johnson. We have a lot to do and a long drive back to Tempe. I understand. She reached out and scooped Kimberly to her in a hug. Try to stop by again on one of your trips through. We will. They said their goodbyes and were walking out the door when one of the girls that came with Bobby ran out the door after them and stopped next to Kimberly. Can I ask you a couple questions? Sure. Well, on the video, did you really do a backflip or was that CGI? Kimberly smiled, looked around for a clear spot on the lawn with no tree branches overhead. Moving to the spot, she judged the best. She took a stance, bowed to the girl, and sprang into the air and did a double backflip, landing in full splits on the grass. Ow! Jeez! The girl said as she crossed her legs and grabbed her groin and wiggled in sympathy pain. Doesn't that hurt? It would if I didn't do it daily. Kimberly pulled herself up with just her leg muscles. You see, you have to work at getting limber first before you can do splits. Then you have to practice a lot to be able to do that move. It took me 3 years to learn it. But didn't it hurt at first? I pulled a muscle in my thigh the first time I tried it. That hurt, not the groin. One more question. Can I have your autograph? Really, Susie? Bobby moaned. Sure. What do you want me to sign? She pulled out a small leather notebook and handed it to Kimberly. And Kimberly took the notepad and wrote, to Susie, practice makes perfect. Kimberly Jackson, the ninja. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. I found several of your fights on YouTube after Grandma posted your exposition at the adventure crew meeting. Wow, I guess I'll have to Google myself. Well, we got to go. Bye. Bye. Thank you again. The girl turned and giggled with glee. I got her autograph. Oh, all right. Benjamin headed back to Tempe with the dump trailer to get another load of lumber, screws, nails, hand tools, and power tools. Janet stayed at the cabin, started getting ready for the livestock that Benjamin was going to get back in Tempe. At first, she started on connecting the portable corrals together to have a place to keep the milk cows. Then she would need Benjamin and Michael's help to help string the barbed wire to give the cows more great area for grazing. Then she started laying out steel ground the 4x4 post for the chicken run and rabbit pen. Then the rolls of chicken wire, 1-inch holes on the bottom, then 1.5 on the upper sides, and 2-inch for the top. Sorry. Benjamin then screw and then up. In the morning, she'd get the sledgehammer and drive the spikes into the ground, bolt the 4x4 posts in them, and then screw on the 2x4 runners that the chicken wire would be stapled to. Benjamin had surprised her with a Ruger 8-shot 357 revolver and belt holster. He gave her a box of snake shot, 3 boxes of full metal jacket, and 158 grain flat nose slugs. She opted for the snake shot for now, although the belt had 12 rounds. Where is it? 12 rounds. Rounds of the full metal jacket slugs and the ammo loops on the back of it. Benjamin also picked up a Mossberg 500 cruiser pump action shotgun with pistol grip in 20 gauge. This was in the house. Oh man, my eyes are just keep watering. I'm gonna have to wrap it up here in a minute, guys. Even if we don't make it to the end of the chapter. Tonight she would sleep a little bit better knowing she had guns to protect herself. Monica, Kimberly, and Michael arrived at the Michael and Kimberly had arrived back at the Jacksons' home in Tempe. About 9 o'clock. Michael's inspection of the property had taken longer than planned because it had not gone unnoticed by Jake, who joined about halfway through. Jake had answers for all of Michael's concerns until Michael asked him what he planned to do when the people tried to get to their food. When the people trying to get to their food were starving and had desperate women and children with them. Then he followed up with what about a gang of brigands with some ex-military members that are dedicated to infiltrating their lines, raping and killing and taking everything they want. There's no way anyone can get past our guards, Jake said boastfully. I can, Michael said dryly. So can I, Kimberly interjected easily. My eyes are burning. They're tired, they're goopy, and all righty, we got that there. Okay, I can. Jake looked at her and chuckled. Kimberly, you'll get spotted before you enter the outer perimeter, let alone to the house. Kimberly laughed loudly and shook her head. We'll go outside your perimeter, come in and ring your warning bell 6 times without you seeing us. And when we catch me, you'll apologize to everyone, Jake said. Agreed, and when we ring the bell, you'll listen to what we have to say, Kimberly said. You're on. Mom, Kimberly called out, you need to take us outside the perimeter, outside their perimeter zone. She headed over to the F-150 pickup. 20 minutes later, Monica returned to Jake's house. You know, Jake, Kimberly's a third-level instructor in Jeet Kune Do. She said after parking her truck. What's that? That's the fighting style Bruce Lee invented. developed. That's the fighting style Bruce Lee developed. Well, that may be, but it doesn't mean she can get inside the perimeter. Just then the bell rang out. What's that? How'd they get on the property? They shouldn't have gotten on the inside the perimeter. One of the neighbors that was with Jake got on his radio and called up for everyone to look for Kimberly and her boyfriend. As the neighbors pulled back towards Jake's house, Michael slipped Kimberly's Colt Car 15 back into its case. Well, that suppressor certainly works great. Dad knew his stuff. Now let's get in closer and ring it again. For the next 5 minutes, they worked their way through the brush and ditches to another spot where they could get a shot off at the bell without being seen. When the bell rang a second time, panic began to work its way into everybody's mind. Then Michael noticed a rooster weather vane on top of the house. Drawing a bead on it, he squeezed off another shot and sent the rooster spinning. Kimberly smiled broadly at the reaction that got. Jake threw his head on the ground and yelled, "That doesn't count." "Let's move closer," Michael said. All right. They skirted around Jake's house, maintaining their distance from it. When they got to the backside of the property, they started working their way closer. When they were 70 yards from the bell, Kimberly rolled over onto her back, clamping her hand over her mouth to stifle the laugh that was trying to erupt because of the idea she just got. When she had control of herself again, she whispered to Michael, "I'm going to work my way up that irrigation ditch that leads to the wooden fence line that lines up with the bell. When I get to that ditch, put one more shot in the bell with the rifle, then leave it here and move to that stand of brush near our trailer. When you're in position, ring the bell with an arrow." Then they move to the barn. Then move to the barn and get into the loft for another shot. That'll draw their attention to the barn, and I will get to the bell for the final ring. Michael started chuckling as thought of their reaction, seeing Kimberly standing there in their midst, ringing the bell. All right, guys. All right, so hang on. Where am I at here? Let's see here. 158. All right, I'm gonna call it here. I'm gonna mark this here so I don't forget where I'm at. And my eyes are just watering so bad because the humidity dropped. I had the humidity up yesterday, but during the night and this morning, I mean, it just really dropped bad. So it's been 3 hours, so I'm going to cut it here. So we'll continue on with chapter 9 tomorrow, or I may come back in later tonight after the live stream tonight. Tonight's live stream on Camp Pat Family Compound is canning meal bases. That's canning bases that you can use for it's the base ingredients for different meals. So we're going to talk about that. Tomorrow we'll start up again at 11 Eastern. However, on Wednesday, it's I got to push it back a couple hours, and we're going to start at 1 o'clock Eastern because I have to, which is 11 o'clock our time. I have to go into Idaho Falls. I got to go to the bank, which doesn't open until 9 o'clock, which would be the normal start time. And I got to do some shopping at several stores tomorrow. So that's what's going to happen tomorrow. Wednesday. Thursday, I'll be back at 11 o'clock Eastern, 9 Mountain for the morning. Thursday night for the midnight ride is going to be postponed probably at least a half hour. It's a city council meeting, and they've been putting out on the city's Facebook group that it's going to be a budget meeting on raising the rates, the utility rates, and it's open for public comment because it's more than 4.9% increase. So they got to get public comment on it. So there's going to be a bunch of people objecting to it, and I'm going to be there helping them put those people in their place about, hey, it's been 25 years you haven't had a rate. There's not even been a cost of living, so you have been skating, living off of charity for the last 25 years. We need to catch back up, otherwise the state's going to bankrupt us. Anyways, that's what's coming up, and I will see you tonight over on Camp Patton Family Compound for the live stream with Tammy McNeil and Mark for canning canning meal bases. All right, everyone, take care.